Chris has finally just said, you know what, I've had enough. We are going to be talking about Married at First Sight, season 12, episode 11. And we're going to talk about Chris and Paige first, and then we're going to talk about the other participants this week. So, Chris and Paige, quick update. Paige is finally free. Now, I said that in a few videos I've done earlier, but it actually turned out that Paige wasn't free. But what actually happened this week is Chris has finally just said, you know what, I've had enough. He tried his very best, he says, to try and communicate with Paige, to try and reach out to Paige, to try and be the best partner he could be. And he managed to blame Paige as the reason for why this relationship is not going to work, because she is not putting in the effort. How toxic, manipulative people just know how to turn everything on its head and blame you, which is what Chris did with Paige this week. So lo and behold, our dear Paige, she ends up crying and Chris ends up saying, this is over. Now guys, I have got so tired of saying, yay, Paige is free. No, Paige is back. So I'm not going to say Paige is free because I have a suspicion that Paige may actually do a little bit more in the next coming weeks to try and maybe bring Chris back on board, or maybe Chris might just be manipulative, and as he's discarded her this week, I'm sure he'll pick her back up another week, because this is the pattern when you're dealing with manipulative or even people with very highly narcissistic traits, potentially, like what we might be seeing here with Chris. We see that they are able to kind of throw you away and pull you back in, and discard of you and pull you back in. And this is the pattern that we've seen time and time again. And I'm sure next week we'll see something else happen from these two. Oh my gosh, guys, Clara and Ryan, they, I believe, are going to be the next potential calamity. Oh, I don't even want to say it. Clara is so unhappy. Clara is so unhappy, guys. She is sexually frustrated, it appears. She feels like, it almost is like Clara's lost her voice. Clara is sad. You could see tears behind her eyes this week. She's like a shell of her former self. She's come into this and it's like, I feel like she's associating his lack of wanting to have intercourse with her as maybe I'm not good enough, or why is it that men don't seem to want to desire me? Like, I really wonder what some of her thoughts are about this feeling of maybe being rejected by your husband, because she spoke about the fact that she was in a long-term 3-year relationship in the previous episode, and she was saying that relationship similarly had issues around sex and there not being this desire for her in that relationship. And it just made me this week feel like, oh my gosh, this poor girl is unable to really say just how unhappy she is to her husband. And he was just playing like he can't see it. I literally was like, Ryan, you can see she's not okay. And I'm sure they're having conversations off camera. So, you know, we only see the edited version. But I think he asked her, is there anything you'd want to be different? Or is there anything you want to be or would have wanted to have changed or something? And she was like, no, yeah. And I just thought, no, that's not the truth. And I'm not saying that means that their relationship or their marriage, shall I say, isn't going to work. I almost feel like she doesn't want to obviously force someone to have sex with her, but she also isn't maybe feeling as confident to say what she really wants. And I feel like it's becoming more about Ryan waiting for his big breakthrough of whenever he thinks it's love. But I just hope that they're having counseling or something to discuss this more, because sex is one of those things that can make a relationship really great, and it can build connection and it can build intimacy, but the lack of it can also create tension, and it can also create a lot of frustration and areas for miscommunication. It can create areas for insecurities. I would recommend your couples therapist just to kind of help you iron out some of that stuff. because you don't want to end up that your voice is almost being squashed and everything becomes about what they want to do. I want to talk about Eric and Virginia because I think this week really they do seem to be actually building a little connection with each other, which is nice. But Eric has very firm views and Virginia has some firm views, but Virginia has spoken about her fear of abandonment. And I think that absolutely can sometimes create some real fear of intimacy. And that means that you want to be loved, you want to feel cherished, you want to have a healthy relationship. But the fear of someone who you love walking out or leaving you or abandoning you is just so greater that you almost sabotage the relationship yourself. And I think with Eric and Virginia, we are likely to probably see this play out in the weeks to come, because Virginia, even though things seem to be going relatively well, she's very fixed and focused on this fear of the relationship not going very well in the long run, and maybe even Eric maybe ending up leaving her. And it'll be good to see if Dr. Viviana or Dr. Pepper or even Pastor Cal are going to be talking to her and Eric about this, because it does seem like that is at play. So I'll be interested to see what advice and support they give around this. Again, I'm not here to say that Virginia has this, but she has been very vocal in saying she's got a fear of abandonment. And I just wondered if there's enough work done before the marriage happens with these individuals to kind of just help them manage and work through some of that. All right, so let's move on to Haley and Jacob this week. Woo! Guys, Haley and Jacob, that is finished. That relationship is pretty much done. I think Haley has some challenges with intimacy and, maybe some fear of commitment. Her friends have mentioned her being a commitment phobe. It's almost that same pattern of the pull away. And this whole, I'm used to being by myself, and she's very independent. She enjoys her own space and traveling. And maybe in some ways, this 7 years gap of no relationship is an indication that she has struggles with maybe opening up, sharing herself and her space with others, or maybe she just struggles with opening up and connecting with others. Maybe, I know she says that she normally gets along well with people so quickly, but getting along with people on a friendship or platonic level is not the challenge here. Getting along with a stranger you married and trying to build a intimate sexual connection and desire is completely different. So I know Haley in this episode is talking about, I normally just get along with people so quickly, but the reality is it's a different type of friendship and connection you're building. And I think for her, we are seeing maybe some fear of intimacy play out on our screens here. I think Jacob is a good guy. He has not shown any signs really of coming here to mess around and break hearts. I think Jacob has come here and said, look, I just want to build a connection and marriage with someone who wants the same as me. And he's very direct. He does say what he's thinking. And I think these are great qualities. But what I've also seen in Jacob is willing to be flexible. He's willing to take on board the feedback he hears from Haley and even the professional experts. And he's willing to actually apply it. And those are the kind of partners that you're trying to get with. It's a good indication that this person is willing to grow. This person is willing to listen. This person is willing to try and compromise and adapt and make space for you in their lives. These are great qualities. And I feel like she is going to have that pain of regret, because actually, when she maybe gets a little bit older, she'll realize that a lot of the attributes that Jacob has shown on this show are actually great qualities for a successful relationship, I personally feel. Okay, so Brianna and Vincent, they literally are in honeymoon. They're really going well. And I really have to say, to watch a young Black couple on the screen actually successfully navigating all the little ups and downs that come with relationships. It's really been a proud moment for me, and I'm sure for you, watching them, because you genuinely see the difference. You know, you marry up Paige and Chris and you see the chaos, toxicity, and the unhealthiness of that relationship. And then you see them, and I'm not saying that I'm not comparing them as that's good, that's bad. I'm just saying you can see the gravity of difference in the relationship. Know that Vincent has definitely put his foot wrong in some ways on this show, just trying to please his wife, just trying to be that guy and doing the most and doing too much. But he has taken steps to really care for this lady, to listen to this lady, to want to grow, to want to hear feedback. And I like the fact that this week he took her on a boat for their 1 month anniversary, and he opened the bottle of champagne, and he obviously did not spill it down his front, so we didn't see any tears and tantrums. But I saw that actually Brianna felt safe enough to say, hey, Champagne Vinny, and they were able to make a joke of it. And that to me just shows really great signs of healthiness to the relationship. Like, they went for a bump, they've managed to talk it out, they've managed to kind of make peace with it, and now when they touch on it, it doesn't become a ferocious argument. So this is good signs of growth for me with them. Remember to hit that like button and the subscribe and the bell so you never miss another video each and every time I upload. Take care and God bless. Bye.